Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Yes. As you can see, I got my main man G here with me, and you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop some knowledge on y'all on the sports tip tonight. But before we get to that, you know what time it is.
If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio-only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't.
All right, G, where were we? We're
just getting started.
There we go. Okay, so yeah, man. So running back used to be the glamour position in the NFL. We know that. And running back was special, man. You look at, your Barry Sanders, your Earl Campbells, your Walter Paytons, your of course going back, your Jim Browns, your Gale Sayers, your Bo Jacksons, and so on and so forth, right? The dream was always Thurman Thomas to get that elite running back, right? And so we've seen as the game has shifted, and now you're able to get quality running backs who can give you quality production later and later in the draft. A lot of teams aren't wanting to pay the running back position the way they used to. Not the way they used to in terms of total dollars, but relatively in terms of running backs being a highly paid position. And if you remember, G, last year or last offseason, that was a whole big uproar, right, about running backs not getting paid. And the running backs did a conference call and trying to figure out how they were going to deal with all of that. And so, I mean, I'm a running backs guy. Like, you look at these guys; these are some of my top 5 running backs. You got Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, right? He's a beast. He's gotten a lot stronger over the years between the tackles. By the way, man, he's Saquon Barkley, when he's healthy, easily one of the best running backs in the league. There you go. Watch him just take off against the Washington football team there. Wow, I don't know if that was a throwback or what. They had Redskins on the field. Of course, you got our new guy, Derrick Henry, King Henry, right? Absolute beast. And I tell you, you ever seen his high school highlights, bro? He went to high school down here in North Florida called Yulee High School. Watch his high school highlights on YouTube. It's like a man running against little kids. Here's my favorite running back in the league right now, Jonathan Taylor. I've been a fan of his since Wisconsin. Absolute monster. Josh Jacobs, another beast. I mean, there are some really outstanding running backs in the league, I left out Nick Chubb because he's coming off that monster ACL injury that he had last year. But being an AFC North guy, all about Nick Chubb, right?
Yeah.
That guy is tough. He's one of the best in the league when he's healthy. And so the whole thing was about running backs not being paid and all of that. But it kind of seems like that whole thing has shifted, and I think it's interesting. I'm not sure why, and I want to get your take on that. Because all of those guys I just showed you there, they either got new deals going into last season or this season. So, what I wanted to know was your take. Do you think something has changed? Do you think maybe there's a bit of change in ownership mindset? Why are the top running backs seemingly getting compensated a little better? And we'll go into the money in a little bit.
I think because you look at CMC, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in almost 90% of the snaps. Well,
Mhm.
70% of the snaps, right? So he's a threat on the field, on the floor. And if I think teams know that after we picked up Derrick Henry, the teams will poach your best players if you don't treat them right. And
Mhm.
so you're starting to see everyone getting paid because the free agency will open up and you'll lose your running back. And without a running back, it'll be hard to win. You can't control that clock without a back. I mean, you can, but it's a little harder. And once you control that clock, you shrink the field or you shrink the game. And so
That's a great point. Yeah.
you definitely need to have that. You mentioned Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, and Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's really young, by the way. All of
Alvin
them are
Kamara, I
making.
forgot.
Yeah, all of them are making an upward of 14 mil a year in their current or new contracts, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's which is crazy. The fact that we got Derrick Henry for 8 mil
Right.
is 8 mil 2 years is crazy.
Yeah.
But you strike when the iron's hot, right? They
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to pay him.
That's
Tennessee
right.
didn't want to pay him, and we just capitalized on it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely a
So,
big
so
piece on the chessboard.
absolutely, yeah. And the real football coaches know that you win inside out. Of course, you got to have a quarterback, but you win from the trenches, right? Offensive line, defensive line, run the football, and then if you have a quarterback that can not turn it over or make the plays when you need them, that's the perfect formula, right? So let me ask you this: before we start actually looking at the money, who's your top running backs in the league? Let's say everybody's healthy. Your top five.
Top five running back. Okay.
Yeah, everybody's healthy, so we're starting from a place of no injuries.
I'm a little biased, so I'm gonna start with Derrick Henry.
Right, right, right. I got you.
I'm gonna throw Christian McCaffrey in there. He's an animal. Uh, Saquon Barkley is definitely another one.
Okay.
Um, and Quiet is kept. Like I'm keeping it Ravens, all Ravens. But if J.K. wasn't hurt, I like the way he run. He's a hard runner.
You
So
would
if you're
put him in
saying
your
that
top five running backs in the league, though, if he healthy.
if he's healthy, right? Like if he's healthy, like
Uh,
we saw what he could do if he's healthy. You thinking
yeah,
about stats? He's an animal. Like he runs. The reason, probably half of the
yeah,
reason
yeah. I
why he
remember
hurt
him since
because he's
Ohio State. Yeah,
reckless.
he's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, Alvin Kamara is
Mm-hmm.
is definitely one in there. He's a unicorn. Get things happening, but it's two types of players though, right? Like you got the what they used to call thunder and lightning. So you got the smash
Yeah,
mouth,
that's
run the
right.
north south running back, and then
That's
you
right.
got your shifty backs,
Yeah.
and so that changes the dynamics of things too. When I look
Mm-hmm.
at J.K., that's what I see. He has the ability to be shifty, but he also have a mean forearm. That stiff arm is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm all about the players with that on offense they stiff arm and
Yeah.
they put their helmet down and follow through. But
Yeah.
I think another reason why we seeing a lot of players get paid is because the rule change. Also, yeah, in order to tackle a strong back, you got to jump. You pretty much got to jump on their back and swing around and do all that. You
Yeah.
can't.
But
It's
yeah,
it,
you
it,
can't even hip drop no more. So
you
that's
can't hip
out.
drop no more.
So
So
yeah, we're gonna
um,
see. Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much the advantage of the back once he get in front of you. So,
Yeah, that's a great point.
but
Um, so if I had to give my top five, all healthy, and no particular order, Derrick Henry, obviously King Henry. Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, because I love the way he's an all-purpose back. To your point, he's on the field majority of the snaps. He's going to catch it out of the backfield. You can line him up wide in a wide receiver position. Obviously, his dad was Ed McCaffrey, so he knows how to run routes and all that. And of course, like I mentioned earlier in the clip, he's gotten a lot stronger running between the tackles. Jonathan Taylor, that's my guy. I've been a huge fan of his, just watching him since Wisconsin. He is an
right,
absolute beast. He's not that big, but he is strong and explosive in speed. So he
he's
gets
young.
into the open field. He could take off on you. He could turn on the jets, but he's very strong between the tackles. So big fan of his. Nick Chubb, I think, is such an animal in terms of what he is able to do after contact. He's very, very difficult to bring down. Unfortunately, playing in
Yeah,
division with Cleveland,
yeah,
got to deal with him. And Josh Jacobs, I think, is that other guy. He can catch it out of the backfield. He's strong and he's fast. Much as I hate to have two Alabama running backs on my top five, got to deal with that. But yeah, I think those are my top five: Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, and Josh Jacobs, if they're all healthy. And that's not to say that the other guys aren't outstanding. Alvin Kamara, you mentioned, Saquon Barkley, who's in Philly now. That's going to be a problem. I just think those are my five. Yeah, so that's what I thought. So I'm really curious to know if the owners, knowing that the running backs made that conference call last year, if that had any effect whatsoever on the fact that they're willing to pay some of these higher end running backs. I don't know. Let's look at the recent deals that these guys got. So Christian McCaffrey, he's got 2 years, $38 million extension, so that makes him the highest paid running back $19 million a year. That's very nice. $14 million signing bonus. Saquon Barkley, 3 years, almost 38 million with the Eagles. So that's almost $13 million a year. Again, $11.5 million signing bonus. Josh Jacobs gone from the Raiders, going to the Packers, 4 years, $48 million. That's 12 a year. These guys, they're being compensated nicely. Jonathan Taylor, 3 years, $42 million. They're doing all right. The high end running backs are doing okay. So it's, we were going through, and of course, King Henry, 2 year extension for $16 million, which still is pretty good considering all the mileage on him and all the hits he's taken over the years. He's still extremely productive, and I think the Ravens probably had the best offer for him, and also the best opportunity for him to win a championship. So this is going to be really good for him. It's going to be good for Lamar Jackson. It's a good fit, and he's fairly well compensated for the point that he's at in his career right now. So that's good. But yeah, I think there was coming a time where kind of the mindset was, if you're a great football player coming up, don't be a running back anymore. But now I guess if you're really that guy, now you're seeing you can get paid again as a running back. And to your point, you got even more rules changes. So it's going to be very interesting to see if you're not going to see more high end players going back to being running backs again. Now knowing that the possibility is there to get compensated well if you're good. So I don't know. I like it. I think we can't argue anymore that running backs aren't being paid fairly, though.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna open up the phone lines for the last time. Phone number is 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. If you want to give us a call, give us your thoughts on the running back position in the NFL, who your top 5 running backs are when healthy, your thoughts on how they should be compensated, if they're being compensated fairly. Let's go ahead and give us a call on that. And if not, that'll be the end of the show. And if you're just getting in, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Instagram, I appreciate you. If you're on Instagram, please go ahead, go on over to the YouTube page. Link is in the bio. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's not that serious. Christian McCaffrey's a hybrid running back. If you're in that position, you'll get paid more. And that's why he's the highest paid at his position in the league, right? But like I was showing, you're seeing some of the other, true running backs between the tackles guys, but guys who can also break it when they get a crease. Those guys are getting compensated nicely as well. So my only hope is that all those guys stay healthy and they continue to do their work, so they can maybe get they can squeeze one more check out of it. And also so we can see that the running backs coming up have the opportunity to get paid if they're outstanding players, at commensurate with their work and their talent. G, you had anything you wanted to add on the running backs before we get up out of here?
Oh no, just that it's good to see them getting money, and uh, we might even see multiple 2,000 yard players this year.
How
Nah,
crazy would that be?
that would be crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. As long as uh, Dark Henry runs over Patrick Queen, it's money well spent. Money well spent.
So, quick side note before we go, man. Isn't that crazy though to see, a Pro Bowler from the Ravens go to the Steelers? Like that's wild to me.
Yes.
That's right there with Rajon Rondo going to the Lakers and winning a championship. Like that was, I was like, yo, this don't even look right.
Yeah, Raquan came in and took his bag.
Yeah, he sure
That's
did.
pretty much that's what happened. But
Yeah.
as far as the running backs is concerned, though, like normally the way we measure like running backs is by the that 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 linebacker, right? That linebacker to running back competition, right? Like
Hmm.
you'll see like your Ray Lewis versus the bus, right? We
Hmm.
haven't had a lot
Hmm.
of those
Yeah.
types of oh, maybe we have, but I haven't heard a lot of the whole linebacker versus running back kind of
Mhm.
thing.
I
I don't
think
know,
that
man.
I think they probably don't market that the way they used to, because that's a violent collision, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
notice, like, remember they had this segment, this is some years ago now, probably like 10 years ago. And the segment was jacked up. I think they used to play it on, like, what is that? Like the ESPN Monday night preview show or the Sunday preview show, and they would show all the big hits, and they'd be like, he got jacked up. And then when the CTE stuff came out and they started changing the rules from the big hits, that's when they revamped the segment and did like you got mossed and a couple other ones, right? But I think that's the reason you don't see or hear as much about the running back versus linebacker matchups that we used to see, that we used to so look forward to, because those generally end in the violent collisions, and the violent collisions are not what the modern NFL wants to market, even though, as fans of football, we all love the big hits still, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. That's definitely spot on. Yeah, but they need to bring it back, man. That was,
It's never
now
coming back.
they do some of it, but I can see them. They pretty much put a heavy emphasis on the corners and the wide receivers versus the
Absolutely.
linebackers, and yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, like, think about it though. I mean, those are great matchups too. Like, we don't want to see a Sauce Gardner versus a Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
yeah,
yeah,
Patrick Surtain versus Stephon Diggs or Brandon Ayuk. We those are great matchups too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so those are more about technique than physicality, but yeah. But all right, team. What I'm gonna do now, then, since we're not getting any more calls on this topic, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it for the night. G, thanks so much for joining me, man. Appreciate all your feedback. This is another great show. I think this is the longest one we've done yet, but we got some really good topics in. We got some good discussion. We got some good calls. So appreciate all of y'all who tapped in and called the show. Appreciate all of y'all who tapped in to watch and listen. Appreciate everybody on Instagram. Appreciate everybody here on YouTube. So go ahead, share the show. Make sure you like and subscribe. I keep saying it. Really helps us out a whole lot. And we'll be back next week doing this again. And I might do another live during the week. I think I may be getting into the habit of doing 2 lives a week. So yeah, but I'll be back with the next episode, and I'm out. Peace.